Good evening and thank you for being a part of Capital Markets this evening. I'm Temple Ashaju. This program promises a splendid view. Why don't you come along as we step into the world of capital markets? This week, the federal government successfully raised $500 million at the Eurobond market to conclude the $1.5 billion global medium-term note due February 2032. The bond was issued at a yield of 7.5%. That is 38 basis points lower than the issuance yield of the previous $1 billion tranche issued in February. The two instruments, which have the same maturity date, have subsequently been consolidated into a single $1.5 billion bond, with the market yield trending further downwards to 7.4% as of news time. And still in the mood of the Global Money Week, which ends tomorrow, 2nd of April, the contagious celebration was this week commemorated at the Nigerian Stock Exchange as students were hosted on the trading floor to familiarize with these rudiments of the stock market and how to save or invest through shares. On the show this evening, we'll bring you the highlights of that event. But before we kick off the program proper, here are some of the stories that shaped the market this week, and we will kick off with the major story, which is the demutualization of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Members of the NSE this week approved the demutualization program of the exchange. The decision was reached at the extraordinary general meeting, which was held on Thursday in Lagos. With the approval, the National Council and management of the exchange will begin process leading up to the exchange becoming a public company limited by shares. A statement from the NSE adds that the engagement of the financial advisors and related parties will be required for the process. Meantime, the chief executive of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, Mr. Oscar Onyema, has hinted that legislation paving the way for the eventual listing of shares in the NSE should be passed this year. Mr. Onyema, who spoke on the sidelines of an event in London, said he's confident the listing would happen before 2020. And this week, the federal government also listed over 2 billion naira of shares, Series 1 savings bond on the Nigerian Stock Exchange through the Debt Management Office. The bond was listed at 13.01% coupon rate. After the listing, I had a chat with the Director General of the Debt Office, Dr. Abraham Nwankwo. During the interview session, he tells me how the monthly bond program has become a headway for retail investors. Let's listen.
This is the debut offer of the FGN saving bond for ordinary Nigerians, a retail bond. The total number of bids, we are about 2,575. It's important to know that out of these, 95% came from individuals, which means the ordinary people, the common people. And those are really the people that the product is targeting, so that it is part and parcel of achieving the objective of inclusiveness of economic development, which is one of the hallmarks of the federal government of Nigeria under President Muhammad Buhari. In terms of volume, the amount raised was a little more than 2 billion naira. And out of that, over 77% came from individuals as well. And in terms of geographical spread, we are excited that we are talking of investors coming not just from the main cities, but also from the remote areas of the country. You know, not just from the major cities, but from minor cities and minor towns and villages. So that's impressive. And this is just the first offer. So we believe that with continuous mobilization, continuous advertisement, continuous publicity and interaction, we are in for, you know, a revolutionary change in the capital market.
This is targeting the retail investors. Talk to us about the awareness creation that you intend to embark on, because again, you're going to be issuing this bond on a monthly basis.
We'll be employing the media. We'll also be having direct interaction with the Nigerian populace. We will be having interactive sessions on zonal basis, on state basis, on local government basis. This is a continuous thing. We will also be making our publicities, our advertisements, not only in English and Pidgin, but also in the local languages. We'll be using grassroots agencies, grassroots institutions, trade unions, motor park workers, Market Women Association, Nigerian Students Associations. All these groups, youth associations, will be used to make sure that the good news of a savings bond, a bond that is allowing, encouraging, and creating opportunity for the common man to be part and parcel of the developments in the capital market in Nigeria.
Over time, Nigerians have become apprehensive of the capital market because of the experience of 2007, 2008, where they got their fingers burned. But this is a bond. Tell us how guaranteed this instrument is for investors who really want to key into it.
One of the great things about the FGN savings bond is that being a bond issued by the federal government of Nigeria, there's certainty. There's certainty of you getting your principal paid at maturity. But more importantly, for the FGN savings bond, interest is paid every quarter for the savings bond. You get your interest every quarter, and at the end of the period, you get your principal back. Of course, because it's the sovereign, the government of Nigeria, there's no case of default. There's no chance of default. And then you are free also to trade, to sell your bond before it matures, because we have just listed it on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange, which means it's traded every day. So any day you want to sell your bond, you can sell it.
That's Dr. Abraham Uwankwo, the DG of the Debt Management Office. Let's go for one of the earnings that trickled into the markets this week, and that's the earnings of FCMB Bank. FCMB Group announced an earnings per share of 72 kobo for the 2016 financial year, up from 24 kobo reported last year. The non-operating financial holding company recommends a cash dividend of 10 kobo per share to shareholders. The group reports a total gross revenue of 176.35 billion naira for the year under review, while the group's pre-tax profit jumps to 16.25 billion naira and net profit is at 14.33 billion naira. Still with the Nigerian Stock Exchange, let's take a look at how the markets performed this week. All share index came up 25,506